Hey everyone, and welcome to the Landlord Studio Community Stories. This is all about showing the insights from our community so you can learn to grow your real estate business firsthand from other successful landlords. Let's cue the intro. So before we get started, just make sure you click the subscribe button below so you can get notified of every episode release. And in today's episode, we are interviewing Mr. Tapiwa. Is that how I pronounce it?
Yeah, Tapiwa, or Taps for short, either's fine.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. How you going
All
today,
right.
Tabs?
All right. How's it going, Logan?
Yeah, it's doing really well. Obviously, we're still kind of inside, and everything's slowly getting back to normal. So
Yeah.
it's kind of getting to that stage now where things are ticking over. So yeah, it's been kind of good. So how about yourself?
Yeah, same here. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. They're trying to, reopen the economy. So everything's kind of proceeding slow.
Mm,
So,
yeah. Yeah, I'd love to kind of dive into that actually. So, first of all, I'd love to kind of hear a little bit about your journey and how you got into real estate, and kind of hear a bit about your story and how you've ended up where you are now. So, maybe for a little bit of context, when and how did you get started in investing?
sure. Well, I kind of actually feel like investing sort of found me. I had relocated to Atlanta in 2011, and I had met some new friends, and they were involved in real estate. So this was obviously a little bit after that 2008, 2009 crash. And they were buying properties in and around Atlanta for 10,000, maybe even $15,000. Now, me being new to Atlanta, I didn't have like a dollar to my name. So I didn't even have $5,000. So I looked at real estate that was, totally out of my reach. So I pretty much dismissed the idea of real estate for me. And then a few years later, um, some other people that I knew who are involved in real estate, I had several discussions about it and really kind of learned some of the basics, some of the fundamentals, had been recommended to read some of those beginning books that we've all read, like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, where I could really understand the mechanics, the basic mechanics of how it
Mm,
works. And from there, I became interested and looked at it as something that I could get involved with.
nice,
So,
nice. That's really cool. It's always real interesting to hear people's origin stories and where they've come from and how they ended up in real estate. Often it's not really super intentional. It kind of just happens. A lot of people just land in it. I was
yeah,
speaking with someone the other day, and they were kind of they didn't really want to touch real estate, and then one of his friends showed him a property and he's like, "Oh, you should buy it. You should buy it. It's a really good deal, and you'll be able to flip it and make some money, and then use that to start purchasing more real estate." So it's quite interesting hearing those origin stories. So I guess what was your initial goal when you started, after you kind of reached that point and I guess started scaling your portfolio or buying more properties?
yeah. My initial goal was really to just get that first property. I still work
Mm,
a full time job. I have a family, so my time is limited. So
mm,
just really the goal of disciplining myself and using any free time to to analyze properties, go out, look at them, and just try to close that first deal.
yep, yep. Nice. And for your long-term objective, are you are you trying to build up a portfolio to reach some sort of like passive income where you can leave that job, or is it more just a kind of a security side investment?
Yeah, at this point, it's more of a security. I would like to get up to about 10 properties. Um,
Mm,
if some type of good fortune were to happen where I could get to the point where I could leave my job, I would consider that. But I am happy where I'm at. So, I like
yeah,
working and I like real estate. So I want to keep
yeah.
doing the two.
Awesome. And how do you typically manage your properties? Do you manage them all by yourself, or do you outsource it to property manager, or have a team that works with you, or how does that kind of work for you?
Yeah, I first started by working with a property manager, and there was a situation that happened with that manager and another investor where they had to actually stop managing everybody's properties that they were working with. So I became, I guess, what you'd call an accidental property manager.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really interesting. A lot of people kind of they start off on the route of outsourcing it to property manager, but then they realize, hey, actually, like I kind of like doing this, or it's really expensive to outsource to property manager because they're
right.
obviously charging an ongoing fee. So they bring it in house, and then they find different ways of kind of building a team internally to try then almost manage their properties from their own company. So I've heard some really cool stories. How do you typically market your rental properties then? If you're not using like a property manager, do you post on Zillow or Hotpads, or how do you typically find tenants for your properties?
Yeah, usually Zillow, Craigslist, those kind of mainstream options.
Yeah, yeah. Have you tried like Facebook Marketplace or anything like that?
No, I haven't. I heard that it works very well, and
Yeah,
I do intend on trying, but as of this date, I haven't tried it yet.
right. I guess with Facebook Marketplace, it's a bit harder to vet. I guess there's a better vetting process that goes through Zillow and Hotpads. It's like more structured for
Yeah.
actually finding tenants and listing your properties. Um, so I'd be quite curious to know what was happening in your business or within your rentals when you decide to look for a solution like Landlord Studio.
Yeah, so when I got started managing my own, I was using spreadsheets, and
Mm,
um, I just kind of came to the point where I didn't want to feel like I was tied down to a desktop. So I started
yeah,
researching other software products, applications, and most of the other products that I saw, they it seemed to be at the time to be desktop centric, meaning that they were first created for the desktop and had that in mind. And even though some of those companies have come up with mobile solutions, it still doesn't really feel organically like a mobile solution.
yeah,
So through more research, I had found at the time, I think you guys were called Landlord Property Buddy. I got that
mm,
on my iPad, and I could immediately tell that this is built for mobile. So I really
yeah.
I've been using it ever since. And then when you transition to
Nice.
Landlord Studio, I came along.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit of a story about how that happened, actually. It's quite interesting. So, Charles, who I work with, created Property Buddy to begin with, and his main goal was to essentially create an app because he was a mobile developer and he essentially was looking for a solution to manage an investment property, uh, just just to track income and expenses. That was it. And when he couldn't find one, he was like, well, I might as well just build my own because there's nothing else. Particularly for the mobile app sides of things. Like there's lots of solutions for desktop and website and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So he just started building Property Buddy of what it was at the time, and then when he finished it, he just put it on the App Store. No intention of anyone downloading it, and then people from all around the world just started finding it on the App Store and downloading it. And then it got to a point where he was getting all these messages from people saying, "Hey, can you add this in? Can you add this in? Like, can you change this?" And he was living in the UK at the time, London. So essentially, it was built for how landlords would manage properties in the UK. And then essentially, a lot of our American customers were saying, hey, you need to add like a multi unit feature and you need to track the expenses in a way that we can run a Schedule E report and all these types of features. And then it just kind of eventuated into what was the final product of Property Buddy. And then essentially, we were like, well, might as well make it cloud version so people can manage it across multiple devices, etc. and then yeah, transitioned into Landlord Studio.
Yeah, yeah.
So
In fact,
that's a quick kind of a quick origin story for you.
yeah, I was gonna
Um,
say. I
yeah,
remember a couple years ago, I had asked for a feature. I think it was in the feedback section of the app, and he reached back out to me and said, "Hey, put it on Twitter, and we'll consider it." And I forgot what the feature was,
yeah,
but I put it out there, and I think that they actually implemented it. So it's really good to hear directly
yeah.
from him.
We've been really intentional about listening to customer feedback, because essentially, like, the solution is not going to work unless it's in the hands of people who are using it, and they're providing some sort of feedback to say, hey, you need to change this because this is how it works in this state or this country. So that's kind of like in our ethos, that's very much what we're trying to prioritize, is that kind of feedback. It gets a little bit hectic once you get like a lot of people saying, hey, add this, this,
Yeah,
this, and this. And it's like, okay, all right, we've got to prioritize now.
yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool to hear. I guess one of my questions would be, well, particularly for other people looking into solutions like Landlord Studio, what would you kind of say to someone who's on the fence about using Landlord Studio as a way of, I guess, doing all their accounting or property management, tracking income and expenses, etc., or another product?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say that in for today, you don't have to be tied down to your desk, desktop computer, or even laptop computer. Landlord Studio, I can track payments, income, expenses. If I'm at home, I can do it on my lunch break at work. uh, in in the car, there's so many things that you can do on it now that they've expanded. A lot of these features. You can add photos, add your lease, track your contractors, communicate with tenants through the app. So I would say definitely, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you guys have a trial going on where people can evaluate it for themselves. So
Yeah, 30-day free trial.
yeah,
So all you need to do is essentially just sign up for free, and then you can try it out, and then yeah, decide if it's suitable for your business. So
yeah. So definitely no harm, no foul in trying it out for free. There's plenty of time to evaluate it and see if it's a fit for you.
yeah, awesome. Well, really appreciate that, and obviously you've kind of built your rental business up to be as successful as it is now. So, what kind of words of advice would you give to a real estate investor wanting to get in and grow their rental properties, or even just start investing in real estate to begin with?
Yeah, I would say to try to find people that you know who are involved in real estate. Don't take the advice, or take the advice with a grain of salt, from people who are not involved in real estate and give you negative
Yeah.
commentary about, tenants, toilets, and this and that. Um, Definitely get involved with a local real estate investment association. And the third piece of advice that we just discussed is having the right tools to run your
Mm.
business. Again, whether it's Landlord Studio or whichever tool that you choose, you want to have that tool that you can use as leverage to grow your business without having to put in as much work.
Mm. Yeah, that's really good advice. Well, really appreciate you coming on today, Taps. It's been really cool chatting and hearing about your journey and where you've come to now. And thank you for everyone listening into today's episode. Again, hit the subscribe button below so you can get notified of every episode. And until next time, have a great week.
All right, Logan, thanks a lot. Thanks for your time.